Welcome to Engage Math, Pre-Algebra Lesson 15, Problem 3. So we're going to always start with whatever column is filled in, and we'll work our way to the other columns. So 0.7%. To go from a percent to a decimal, since this really means 0.7 or 7/10 out of 100, the decimal actually has to get moved 2 positions to the left to go from a percent to a decimal. So this is actually a really challenging problem. But when we move that decimal 2 positions to the left, we get 7 over 1,000 or 0.007. So that fraction then is going to just be 7 over 1,000. Okay, let's look at the next one. This time we start with the decimal. So we're going to move the decimal 2 to the right to make it a percent, which becomes 5 4/10 or 5.4%. So that particular fraction is going to be, since it's 0.054, if you want, we could start it off as 54 over 1,000. Okay, and now we can reduce that to 27 over 500. That would be our final answer for that. All right, let's start with the 3 over 100, which means 0.03 is the same as 3/100ths. And so that, if you move the decimal 2 to the right to turn it into a percent, it's 3%. All right, let's look at the next one. So let's first turn it into a fraction. So we could either make it 177 over 100, or if you prefer, we could actually write it as 1 77/100ths if you prefer. So it's the same as 1 77/100ths. And then as a percent, it would be, since it's over 1, that's why it's going to be 177%. Because remember that 1 is 100%. So this, we'll move the decimal 2 to the right and we get 177%. Okay. 25 over 20, we know that's going to be more than 100% as well, because the 25, the numerator, is greater than the denominator. Okay, I think the easiest way to do this one is to think of this as 1 5/20, which is 1 1/4. So 1, and again, you have the calculator if you want, but the decimal would be 1 25/100ths, because 5 over 20 is the same as 1/4, which is the same as 25 over 100. And so that percent would be 125%. All right, let's go the other way now. 250% would be the same as 2 5/10. Again, it's way over 1 this time because it's 250%. And so 2.5 or 2.5 is the same as 5/2, or if you prefer, you could write it as 2.5. Okay, these were really tough fraction decimal percents, but if you understand these, boy, you're doing great with them all. Have a great rest of the lesson and see you next time at Engage Math.